jobs where I could help human beings grow.
What was the first service project in your life that you remember being involved in?
When I was young, we used to deliver packages of food to people who couldn't afford food. The social service projects in Lower East Side. And that was helpful. And
Were they to Jewish or Gentile families?
This is to Jewish families.
Was there a moment when you had an epiphany, when you knew that service was going to be a major aspect of your life? If so, please describe that for us.
I think my process was, when I first began to study and certain ideas really grabbed me, that the most vital thing I could do in my life was to help other people who were created in the image of God, make a better world.
And this is back when you're just learning,
Even
studying Torah.
Yeah, studying Torah.
Even before you started the Talmud.
Right, even elementary school. I'm watching a few of the rabbis who really embodied that, and how kind they were, and it touched me. So I felt that I could be that way, that there was part of me that was soft and relational, and I wanted to be able to help other people. There was one other time when I was in college, at Yeshiva College, and Dorothy Day and the Catholic Worker Movement came to visit our school. We used to have outside lecturers, and I was very impressed by their dedication, to service, and it seemed such pure work. You didn't have to worry about any theological doctrines. You just go out and you knew that you were doing something pure. They were dedicated to poverty, and they really helped day and night to try to improve society.
Do you have a particular spiritual practice other than the normal 3 times a day prayer that you could share with us?
Meditation, where I learned, first mantra meditation, TM, I had a mantra. Then I meditated with a group called Brahma Kumaris. They were a Hindu group from India who came here, and I met them at once a year in Los Angeles, downtown. There was a day of, I forget the title of it, but some kind of spiritual unification where different religions would come together and they would share their spiritual practices. So I met those people, and they brought me into their tent, and it was a wonderful meditation system of guiding yourself up, elevating yourself to the upper world. So I sometimes lead groups doing that, but I try every day to do a 20-minute meditation. I used to be able to do it twice a day.
When you meditate, do you do an empty mind or a focused meditation?
I do a focused meditation with a mantra. I just stick to the mantra and come back to it and sit with it for 20 minutes.
Do you daven 3 times a day?
Yeah, sometimes I'll miss mincha or whatever, but I in the morning it's easier for me to always be there, and it energizes me, especially if I daven with a minyan.
With whom do you daven?
Sometimes I daven 3 times a week at Beth Jacob in Beverlywood, and 2 days a week when I'm at the academy, we have a minyan in the morning.
One of our viewers was so traumatized by their childhood, whether it was our faith practice or some other. May have just have been their parents, but they may have had grown up with no faith tradition, but they are hurt. They have a shell of rejection and fear, and if you were to say to them, oh, read this passage from the Bible, or oh, go pray to God, they would just reject you out of hand. They are actively convinced there is no God. Is there a beginner's spiritual practice that you could recommend for such a person that might aid them in softening or breaking the shell of resentment that they have?
If they engage in the social service project, somewhere where they can be giving to other individuals, generally that brings out the God within them. They may not call that God, but the ability to give sort of shifts an awareness that, hey, I am an okay person, and there is the capacity to do good in the world. They once asked Gandhi, do you believe that God is love. And Gandhi said, I'm not sure if God is love, but I know to love is God. If you see a person who's loving, there's something that gets touched in you, you know. So I would enable that person to try to be in an activity where that can be brought out within themselves. So instead of looking for God out there, finding it within.
And can you suggest a project or two, or however many, that they might consider trying? Something with a relatively low commitment level, just get your toesies wet kind of project.
You know, there are many. There's in Los Angeles, there's Project Mazon. There's Sova, where people serve food to the hungry and deliver food and package food. Um, there, if they like children, there's Big Brothers, Big Sisters, where you could help mentor a youngster. There are people who volunteer to work with disabled or people who are lonely, visiting an old age home, a nursing home, and speaking with residents, those kinds of things.
If one of our viewers was inspired by what you've just suggested, and they decided to try that, what might they expect to get out of it for themselves?
Well, when you give something, there's a feeling of raising your own soul in some way. There's a real satisfaction that you've helped another person, you know. So it's not so much you transform from what you're getting out of it to what you're giving to it, and automatically you do get something, you know, through that process.
If you knew that you could not fail, if I were able to issue you a 100% ironclad guarantee of success for your next project, what would you attempt?
I'd attempt some of what I'm doing now, and that is to try to bring religious leaders together to create a strategy where we can impact the world in a positive way, to give hope and faith that things can be done to promote peace between groups who are fighting, to raise the standards of living for people who are needy, to create a consciousness that we're all one and this world can be a blessing if we just put our hands together.
Let's pretend for a moment that all 7 billion of us are going to watch this video. What would you say to us?
You're here for a specific destiny. Get connected to it and do your part in the world, and we'll all contribute together to elevate the world. I believe in you. You're created for a purpose. Just get in touch with that, and then be responsible for that gift that you were given and bestow it on the world.
If I were able to give you any superpower, one that you've heard of, X-ray vision, ability to bend steel with your bare hands, whatever, something like that, or one that you make up right now on the spot, what superpower would you request of me?
Ability to have knowledge, to have the power of knowledge that's has clarity and is edifying and can contribute something elevating to the world.
So knowledge for yourself, or the ability to share that knowledge with others?
Knowledge, and
or
that I
both.
would share with others.
Both.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Deer Hunter is one that
Why?
I love a lot. It has a combination of great drama. There's a love story. There's overcoming a lot of obstacles. There's suffering in the war. There's camaraderie between people. There's one scene where there's a song that lasts for about 12 minutes, and they're drinking and sending off some people to war, but really celebrating life. There's such courageous moments when one of the characters go back to Vietnam to try to save their buddy who became addicted and was involved with a very dangerous type of vocation. The music, the photography, there's a lot in it that moves me. I like Raging Bull. When I was a kid, I used to like West Side Story, A Farewell to Arms.
Who are your heroes?
In terms of my teachers, I always was very close to Yitz Greenberg, and I had a the dean of my School of Social Work, Bill Rosenthal. These were people who were very authentic, very courageous, very bright, very empathetic, and who got me and who I felt appreciated me, and I really loved to learn from them and to watch them. You know.
What can we as a society do to help people who didn't have better upbringings to become servant leaders today?
I think educational systems that are inspiring, wonderful teachers, models, religious institutions that really model sincerity, authenticity, piety, kindness, go a long way. Education and religion can be positive forces in the world, even if your parents, weren't there. Sometimes a great teacher can inspire you, sometimes we get connected to religion and have a sense of God. There's a sense of self-appointment that I am somebody. I am a child of God, and you can become very inspired that way.
What have I neglected to ask you about religion, psychology, your personal motto, anything that you think bears mentioning right now?
I think what's essential is how to impart faith and confidence in people, how to allow people to find themselves, to discover themselves, and I firmly believe that each of us have a specific, unique destiny. So we need to work on that and see what draws us and follow that, have the courage to do that. And we have to create systems that encourage that and support that rather than trying to ram one idea down people's throats or trying to make them conform to the modes of a community that they belong to. So what I would say is, you didn't ask me about what I think, how people grow and change, or how people become the best that they're meant to be. So my answer is to encourage individuality, give them support, and help them imagine that it's possible to achieve.
Thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me.
Thank you. Thank you for your good questions and your attention and your kindness. Thank you.